Greetings from Electrically. In this session, we are going to start our discussion on DC machines. Okay, so for the effective understanding of DC machines, what we are going to do, we will divide our DC machines course into three parts. Okay, so the first part will be basics of electromagnetism. Okay, and then second part onward, we will start our actual discussion of DC machines. Okay, second part will be DC generator and third part will be DC motor. Okay, so with this note, let's discuss the syllabus. Okay, let's discuss the syllabus that we are going to study in this from this session. Okay, so from the syllabus point of view, as per AE and JE exam, okay, assistant engineer and junior engineer level exam, like SSC, PSU exam, BHEL exam, right? Various PSU are recruiting through their exams, right? At present, BHEL is going to recruit. Then ONGC, then HPCL, right? Then GATE is also coming. Okay, so from this exam point of view, the syllabus of the DC machines will be. So first we will discuss basics of electromagnetism. After the completion of basics of electromagnetism, we will start a discussion on construction of DC machines. Okay, construction on DC machines. In construction part, we will talk about what is rotor, okay, how rotor is made up of, okay, by what material our rotor is made up of, our stator is made up of, okay, what is yoke, right, what is then what is pole core, what are pole shoe, okay, all these concepts, all these parts we are going to study in construction of DC machines. Okay, now after completion of construction part, we will jump on armature reaction. Okay, this is one of the most important topic from DC machine, armature reaction. Okay, what is armature reaction? It is the effect of armature flux on the main field flux. Okay, due to armature, what happens? An axis shifts in the direction of rotation or opposite to the direction of rotation in case of generator, in case of motor. Okay, then due to armature reaction, okay, what are the disadvantages of armature reaction, right? We are going to study in armature reaction. Remember, armature reaction will be present only in DC machines and synchronous machine. There won't be any armature reaction in transformer and induction machines. Okay, so after the completion of this armature reaction, we will discuss types of generator. Okay, based on type of excitation, whether it is self-excited or it is separately excited, right? Types of generators we are going to discuss: series excited, shunt excited, okay, then compound excited. Okay, now these are the types of generator. Now after discussing the types of DC generator, we will discuss the characteristics of those generators. Okay, characteristics of those generator, right? These are the characteristics of DC generator. Okay, so this will be our first part. Okay, second part. Okay, this will be our second part, that is DC generator. Now in third part, what we will do in third part, we will discuss DC motors. Okay, what are the principle, right? What is the principle of operation of DC motor? Okay, principle of operation of DC motors, right? Then types of DC motors. Okay, series excited, shunt excited. Okay, there won't be any there. 1 minute. Types. Okay, types of DC motors. There won't be in types of DC motor, like in DC generator, we have separately excited and self-excited. Okay, but in case of DC motor, there won't be any concept of self-excited motor. Okay, there is no concept of self-excitation in case of DC motors. Okay, then after discussing the types of DC motor, shunt excited, series excited, right, compound excited, cumulative, what is differential. Okay, after that we will discuss the characteristics of these DC motors. Okay, what is speed torque characteristic, what is torque current characteristic, what is current speed characteristic, all these characteristics we are going to discuss in characteristics of DC motors. Okay, from exam point of view, this topic, right, this topic, characteristic of DC motors, is very important. Okay, what is no load characteristic? Right, what is no load characteristic, what is loaded characteristic, that we are going to study in characteristics of DC motors. Then after discussing characteristics of DC motors, we will discuss speed control. Okay, we will discuss speed control. Now in speed control, for shunt motor, for shunt operation, for series operation, there are various methods in order to control the speed of shunt motor, control the speed of DC motor, DC series motor, right? So in speed control techniques, we are going to see all those techniques. Then starting methods, starting of DC motors. Why we need a starter, 3-point starter, 4-point starter? Okay, in order to limit the starting current, right? In order to limit the starting current so that our windings will not get burned. Okay, that's why we need a starter. Okay, what is 3-point starter, what is 4-point starter? All these topics we are going to study in starting methods. Then after this, the braking of DC motors, right? Braking of DC motors. What is dynamic braking? What is plugging mechanism? What is regenerative braking? Right? These three techniques, or these three braking techniques, we are going to discuss in brakings of DC motor. Okay, so this is nothing but the syllabus. Okay, this is nothing but the syllabus of our DC machines. Okay, if you consider any exam, be it GATE exam or be it any PSU level exam or SSC JEE level exam, or any AE level exam like Transco, Genco, Discoms, okay, in that DC machines will play very important part. Okay, in this the main topics are armature reaction, then characteristics of DC generator, then characteristics of DC motors, then speed control is very important. Okay, then starting methods are also important. Okay, then braking of DC motor is very important. Okay, so this is about syllabus that we are going to study from this session. Okay, as this is our introduction lecture, what we are going to do, we will start a discussion on basics of electromagnetism. Okay, let's start our discussion on basics of electromagnetism. Tell me, we have three types of electrical machines, right, in our course. Okay, these three types are, first is generator, second is motor, and third it is transformer. Transformer, it is not a machine, it is an electric device. Okay, generator, electric motor, and then electric device, transformer. Okay, so we will start with a general discussion on generator. So tell me one thing, what is the purpose of generator? What is the purpose of generator? It will convert mechanical form of energy into electrical form, right? But being an electrical engineer, what should we answer? It is an electric machine which will convert mechanical form of energy into electric form of energy in the presence of what? Magnetic field. Because what is happening in inside the generator, energy conversion is taking place. Energy conversion in the sense from mechanical to electrical we are converting, and that mechanical to electrical is converting only because of that presence of magnetic field. Okay, that magnetic field term is very important. Without magnetic field, there won't be any energy conversion, be it generator or be it motor. Okay, in motor also we require magnetic field. Okay, because in motor also what is happening, electrical form of energy is converting into mechanical form of energy in the presence of what? Magnetic field. Energy conversion is taking place, right? Energy conversion is taking place. Okay, so the basic definition or basic purpose of generator is, it will convert, if we give input as mechanical, we will get output input is mechanical, we will get output as electrical in the presence of what? Magnetic field. This is magnetic field. This, remember, this magnetic field is very important term. Okay, in our entire machine course, be it generator, be it transformer, be it synchronous, be it induction, or be it DC machine, okay, this magnetic field term is very important. That creation of magnetic field is very important. Okay, and maintaining of that magnetic field is also very important. Okay, in order to operate our machine in efficient way. Okay, so you can observe here one thing, that energy conversion is taking place, right? Energy conversion is taking place from mechanical to electrical in the presence of what? This magnetic field. So there must be some principle behind this energy conversion, right? So there must be some principle behind this operation of generator, right? Now the principle behind the operation of generator is Faraday's first law. This is the Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, remember, the principle behind the operation of generator is nothing but Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction, right? So according to this Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction, what we can see here, whenever a conductor, okay, whenever a conductor is moving inside a stationary magnetic field, okay, inside a stationary magnetic field, okay, whenever a conductor is moving in the sense what? It is rotating. Okay, moving in our electrical machine is nothing but what? In a rotating manner. Okay, whenever a conductor is rotating inside a stationary magnetic field, it will experience a changes in flux linkages, right? It will experience, that conductor will experience the change in flux linkages, and as soon as it experiences changes in flux linkages, an EMF will induced across that conductor. Okay, this is nothing but the Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, tell me, always remember, the main aim, the main motto of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction is to induce an EMF, but where? Across the conductor. Okay, because conductor is what? Conductor is a medium through which charges flow, right? So the main motto of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, be it first law or be it second law, okay, in second law we will come across it. Okay, Faraday's second law. What is Faraday's second law? Okay, always remember, the main motto of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction is to induce an EMF, across the conductor. Okay, so observe in this statement of Faraday's in this Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction, when a conductor, right, when a conductor, for example, this is my conductor, this conductor will definitely be having some length. Okay, that conductor will be definitely having some length L. Okay, and it is moving, right? It is moving with some velocity. Obviously it is moving means it is having some velocity, right? Whenever a conductor having length L is moving with velocity V, okay, inside a stationary magnetic field. Okay, this is a stationary magnetic field. This stationary magnetic field is very important. Why it is called as stationary, I will explain later, but for time being, just remember, whenever a conductor is rotating inside a stationary magnetic field, this B represents stationary magnetic field or magnetic field. Okay, this B represents magnetic field. So whenever a conductor is moving inside a stationary magnetic field, it will experience what? It will experience changes in flux linkages. And as soon as it experiences changes in flux linkages, an EMF will be induced across the conductor. Okay, so this whole statement can be represented in the form of one equation. Okay, this is nothing but E is equal to BLV. There is one more term, sine theta. Why we are taking sine theta? Why we are not taking cos theta? right? Or tan theta or cosec theta. Why we are only taking sin theta? That I will explain later. Okay, as it is our introduction lecture, so remember, it is just a general discussion. Okay, we are just making a foundation in order to understand the machine. Okay, how that rotating body is converting one form of energy into other form. Okay, so in further lectures we are going to discuss all these concepts. What is theta, what is E, how EMF is getting induced dynamically, how EMF is getting induced statically in case of transformer, in case of generator, in case of synchronous machine. Okay, all these concepts. What is Lenz's law, what is right hand rule, what is left hand rule, right? What is a right hand thumb rule. Okay, all these concepts we are going to discuss in this basics of electromagnetism. Okay, this basics of electromagnetism is nothing but a foundation. It will be a foundation for our entire machine course. Okay, so this E is equal to BLV sin theta. Okay, fine. So this is left hand side and this is right hand side. ओके, हम लोग थोड़ा धीरे धीरे जाएंगे. ओके, स्टार्टिंग लेक्चर है तो अच्छे से समझना चाहिए, इसीलिए मैं बहुत डीप में जाके आपको बहुत धीरे धीरे समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. ठीक है. सो दिस इज नथिंग बट LHS साइड, दिस इज RHS साइड, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड, राइट हैंड साइड. And tell me, left hand side always represents output or input? It always represent output, and this RHS side represents input, right? Now observe this input. We have L term. L is nothing but length of conductor. V is nothing but velocity of that conductor movement. Okay, so this quantity is mechanical, right? This is mechanical quantity, right? Whenever a conductor having some length L is moving with velocity V inside a stationary magnetic field, this B represents stationary magnetic field. Okay, so this conductor will experience a changes in flux linkages, and as soon as it experiences changes in flux linkages, an EMF will be induced across that conductor. This is nothing but what? EMF is electrical quantity or mechanical quantity? It is electrical quantity, right? So at input what we gave? Mechanical, because this velocity is nothing but mechanical parameter, right? Moving, physically it is moving, spatially it is moving, right? After moving this conductor inside a stationary magnetic field, what will happen? An EMF will be induced across that conductor. This is nothing but electrical quantity. This nothing but mechanical quantity in the presence of magnetic field. Okay, so this is how a generator action can be represented in the form of one equation, right? From mechanical to electrical, from mechanical to electrical. This is how our generator will work. Okay, this whole equation represents the operation of generator. Okay, from mechanical to electrical. Okay, this was about general discussion of generator. Okay, now our second machine is what? Electric motor, exactly opposite to generator. In generator what was happening? It was converting mechanical form of energy into electrical form, right? But in case of motor, what will convert? Electrical energy will convert into mechanical energy. For example, the ceiling fan in our house, there is one ceiling fan, right? Unless and until we don't switch on the we don't get that rotation of blades. That rotation of blades is nothing but what? Mechanical output. And that switching on, that switch is nothing but what? Giving electrical supply. So first we need to give electrical input, then at output what we will get? Rotation. That is nothing but mechanical quantity, right? And all this is happening in the presence of what? Magnetic field, because energy conversion is taking place. And as I told you, without the presence of magnetic field, there won't be any energy conversion. Okay, so we are giving what? We are giving in case of motor, input is electrical, and at output what we are getting? at output we are getting mechanical, right? That is nothing but a rotation. Okay, in the presence of what? Magnetic field. Okay, this is nothing but the general purpose of motor. Okay, fine. So there must be some principle behind this energy conversion, because electrical to mechanical is converting, right? In case of generator, mechanical to electrical it is converting in case of generator. Okay, so there was a principle behind the operation of generator, that was nothing but a Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction. Now similarly, in case of motor, energy is converting from electrical form to mechanical form. There must be some principle behind this energy conversion, or principle behind the operation of motor. That principle is called as Lorentz force principle. What I'm saying? Lorentz force principle. Now according to Lorentz force principle, whenever a current carrying conductor, what I'm saying here, current carrying conductor, not a normal conductor. Okay, current carrying conductor, it means first we need to give supply to that conductor. Okay, first we need to switch on the switch. Okay, then only current will flow because of that closed path, right? So whenever a current carrying conductor is available inside a magnetic field, okay, whenever a current carrying conductor is available inside a magnetic field, that conductor will experience a force on it. Okay, and as soon as it experiences a force on it, it starts to rotate. This is nothing but the principle behind the operation of motor. Okay, so what I told you, according to this principle, first we need to give supply, right? First we need to give supply. Okay, this I represents current, nothing but supply, current supply. That is nothing but a current carrying conductor. Okay, whenever a current carrying conductor, okay, so whenever a current carrying conductor, that conductor will be having some length. Okay, definitely that conductor will be having some length, right? This L is representing the conductor length, okay, or active length. Okay, whenever a current carrying conductor having length L is available inside a magnetic field, this B represents what? Magnetic field, right? Or magnetic flux density or magnetic field, it is almost the same thing. Okay, whenever a current carrying conductor is available inside a magnetic field, it will experience a force on it. Right? It will experience a force on it. So it starts to rotate, right? किसी को अगर हमने फोर्स दिया, किसी को धक्का मारा, कोई रोटेटिंग बॉडी है ऐसा, इधर से अगर धक्का मारा, फोर्स अगर इसके ऊपर एक्सर्ट किया, तो ये क्या हो रहा है? रोटेट हो रहा है ऐसा, राइट? रोटेट हो रहा है, राइट? सो दिस इज हाउ वी represent Lorentz force principle or operation of motor, electric motor, in the form of one equation. Okay, F is equal to BIL sin theta. There is one more term which is sin theta. Okay, what is this sin theta and what is this theta? I will explain in further lectures. Okay, but for time being, just remember the principle behind the operation of electric motor is Lorentz force principle, and it can be represented by F is equal to BIL sin theta, where I is current flowing through conductor, L is active length of that conductor, B is nothing but the magnetic field. Okay, B is representing magnetic field, and F is representing force on, which has applied on the conductor, so it is rotating. Okay, so this is left hand side and this is right hand side, right? So in right hand side you can observe, as this is input, as right hand side is considered as input, we are first giving current, right? We have a current carrying conductor having length L, and when this current carrying conductor is available inside a magnetic field, it will experience a force on it. This is nothing but force. And force, tell me, force is an electrical quantity or mechanical quantity? It is a mechanical quantity. right? So we are giving electrical input in the form of current, right, or in the form of supply. Then only current will flow now, because of closed path, right? So we are giving electrical input, and in turn we are getting what? A rotation. That is nothing but force. Force is nothing but mechanical quantity, right? This is a mechanical quantity. So we gave electrical input and we got mechanical output. This is nothing but the operation of, general operation of motor. Okay, so this was about motor. F is equal to BIL. What is the principle behind the operation of motor? Lorentz force principle. Okay, Lorentz force principle. That is nothing but energy conversion is taking place. For an electric generator, it was Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction. This Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction, it is also called as dynamically induced EMF. Okay, so an EMF will be induced across the conductor. An EMF which is induced according to Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction, that induced EMF is called as dynamically induced EMF, right? Because here one thing is stationary, magnetic field is stationary and conductor is moving. Okay, dynamically means what? Changing with respect to something, right? It is changing its position. That conductor is changing its position. That's why the principle behind the operation of generator is nothing but dynamically induced EMF, a EMF which is induced according to dynamically, right? According to Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction, that is nothing but dynamically induced EMF. Okay, for all generator. Okay, and for motor it is Lorentz force principle, right? Now we will come across our third electric machine. Okay, it is not a machine, it's an electric device. Okay, so it's a transformer. Okay, it's an electric device, right? Now tell me the basic purpose of transformer. Okay, the basic purpose. Okay, the basic purpose of transformer is to step up or step down the voltage levels as per the requirement of the system, or as per the requirement of a transmission or distribution, right? Now there must be some principle behind this operation of transformer, right? The principle behind the operation of transformer is nothing but Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction. See, in case of generator, we have discussed the principle behind the operation of generator is Faraday's first law. Okay, the EMF which is induced according to Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction is nothing but dynamically induced EMF, right? It was dynamically induced EMF in case of generator, right? But in case of transformer, it is a second law of Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, the EMF which is induced according to Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction across the winding of transformer is nothing but a statically induced EMF. Statically means what? Statically word came from a static word. Okay, static. Tell me, the transformer is a rotating device or a static device? It is a static device. Why it is called a static device? Because the winding, core material, all active parts in the transformer are nothing but static in nature, stationary in nature. Nothing is rotating. Okay, and tell me the EMF will be induced across the winding. Okay, and winding is static. Okay, it is stationary in nature. That's why the EMF is which is induced across the winding of the transformer is called as statically induced EMF. Okay, so in transformer, basically it is a transformer is what? It is a static electric device which will transfer. Okay, it will not convert any energy from one form to other form. It will just transfer electrical power or electrical energy from one side to other side. One side to other side means from primary side to secondary side. Okay, in the presence of magnetic field, what transformer will do? It will transfer electric energy from one side to other side in the presence of magnetic field. Okay, without change in magnitude of power and without change in frequency of the system. What does it mean? See, we have transformer, right? We have here transformer. Okay, this is transformer core. Okay, this is transformer core and we have winding. Okay, this is one winding, this is second winding. Okay, this is one winding and this is second winding. So here we will apply a source, we will give source. So this winding will be called as primary winding. This is primary winding, and here we will connect a load. Okay, that's why it is called as secondary winding. This is primary winding and this is secondary winding. Okay, based on the position of source and load. Okay, based on the position of source and load, we can say this is a primary winding and secondary winding. If I interchange the load position and source position, if I give source here and if I apply load here, okay, this source will not be there. I have transferred the source at this portion, at this side. Okay, now this winding will become what? This winding will become primary winding and this winding will become load winding, secondary winding, because here load is connected and here source is connected. Okay, so based on the position of source and load, we give the name as primary winding and secondary winding. Primary winding and secondary winding are not the actual names of transformer winding. Okay, the actual names of winding of transformer is high voltage winding and low voltage winding, based on the number of turns. Okay, and based on the position of source and load, we name the winding as primary and secondary winding. Okay, so there is one more thing about transformer. What I said, it will transfer electrical power or electrical energy from one side to other side in the presence of what? Magnetic field. Okay, this is core. Inside this core, magnetic flux or magnetic field will be present. Okay, when we come across transformer subject now, there we will discuss it in detail. Okay, how that flux will be established inside the core material, what is magnetizing component, what is magnetic inrush current, why we should not operate the transformer on DC supply. Okay, there are some tests, okay, which are operated in which the transformer is operated under a DC supply. Okay, but for a very short duration of time. That test is called as DC kick test, in order to get the polarity of the induced EMF. Okay, induced EMF and the dot convention. Okay, what is the dot convention? Okay, that all we are going to discuss in transformer topic. Okay, but for time being, just remember it is a static electric device which will transfer electric power from one circuit to other circuit in the presence of magnetic field without change in magnitude of power and without change in frequency of the system. What does it mean? See, if I am giving input as F1 at frequency F1, that is nothing but 50 Hertz. Then at output also, what I will get? Same frequency, that is 50 Hertz. Okay, without change in frequency, because there are no rotating parts. Okay, that's why the frequency will remain constant from input side to output side. Okay, and there is one more term. The transformer is also called as constant power device, right? For example, if at primary we have X unit of power, okay, then at secondary also we will get X unit of power, right? If we have Y unit of power at primary, and after transfer of that power from primary to secondary, the magnitude of that power won't change. That at output side also we will get Y unit of power. This means that transformer is considered as constant power device because magnitude is not changing from input to output. Okay, magnitude of power is not changing from input to output. Similarly, frequency is not changing from input to output. But when we come across the induction machine, okay, induction machine is nothing but what? It is a rotating transformer. It is just an extension of transformer, right? Induction machine is also called as rotating transformer. This name was given by Nikola Tesla, right? It is a rotating transformer, induction machine. And in induction machine, if we give input as 50 Hertz, then at output we can control the frequency. We can get 40 Hertz, we can get 60 Hertz, we can get 45 Hertz, Okay, so the induction machine can be used as frequency changer. Okay, but transformer is not a frequency changer device. If we give 50 hertz input, you will get 50 hertz output. That's why transformer is called as constant frequency device. Okay, remember, directly asked questions in J&A exam, transformer is considered as constant frequency device. Transformer is also called as, is considered as constant power device, because magnitude of power is not being changed from input side to output side. It remains constant from input side to output side. Okay, constant frequency device, constant power device. And transformer is also considered as constant flux device. Why it is called as constant flux device? Because irrespective of loading, loading means what? Half loading, no load condition, fully loaded condition. Okay, so irrespective of loading on the transformer, the magnitude of main field flux, okay, the main field flux will be established here. Okay, the main field flux will be established in this core material according to this current direction in this winding. Okay, so magnetic flux will be established in this core material. Okay, so irrespective of loading, be it half loaded, be transformer is half loaded, is at half load, if be it at fully loaded, okay, be it at fully loaded condition or no load condition, the magnitude of that main field flux, that is called as phi m. Okay, that is called as phi m. Okay, this is called main field flux. Okay, main field flux is maintained constant irrespective of loading. Okay, that's why transformer is also considered as constant flux device, because magnitude of main field flux, that is nothing but magnetizing flux or working flux, is maintained constant irrespective of loading. So transformer is constant power device, constant frequency device, and constant flux device. Okay, so there must be some principle, right? There must be some principle behind the operation of this transformer. Like we had a principle in generator, Faraday's first law of electromagnetic induction. In motor, we have Lorentz force principle. Similarly, for transformer, we have Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, so according to Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction, according to this Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction, whenever a conductor is placed inside a variable magnetic field with respect to time, right? तो यहाँ पर एक सेंटेंस आ रहा है, वर्ड्स आ रहा है कि वेरिएबल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइम. ओके, बट इन केस ऑफ जनरेटर व्हाट वी हैड अ स्टेशनरी मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, right? We had stationary magnetic field with respect to time. Okay, now what is variable magnetic field with respect to time? Variable magnetic field means what? With respect to time means what? At every instant of time, the magnitude of flux is not constant, it is continuously changing. Okay, for example we have, this is y-axis, this is x-axis, okay, y-axis, x-axis, and on y-axis I will take flux, and this x-axis is nothing but time axis. Okay, now at time t1, at time t2, at time t3, at time t4, at time t5, at time t6, okay, and so on. Okay, now observe here, at every instant of time, the magnitude of flux is changing. The magnitude of flux is changing. See, at t1 the magnitude is 0, magnitude of flux is 0. At t2 it is maximum, at t3 it is again minimum, at this position it is less than maximum but more than 0, right? At t4 also it is maximum, at t5 it is 0. So continuously the magnitude of flux, it is changing with respect to time. At t1 it is different, at t2 it is different. So this kind of magnetic field which is varying with respect to time is called as variable magnetic field with respect to time. Okay, this is variable magnetic field with respect to time. Okay, because with respect to time it is changing. Okay, so whenever a conductor is placed inside a variable magnetic field with respect to time, that conductor will experience changes in flux linkages. Okay, that conductor will experience changes in flux linkages. That conductor will experience changes in flux linkages. So an EMF will be induced across that conductor. As soon as that conductor experiences changes in flux linkages with respect to time, an EMF will be induced across that conductor. Okay, this is nothing but Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, now how to represent this Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction in the form of an equation? Like we had in generator, E is equal to BLV sin theta. In Lorentz force principle, we have F is equal to BIL sin theta. Similarly, for transformer, we have see here, whenever a conductor is placed inside a variable magnetic field, it will experience changes in flux linkages. Okay, changes in flux linkages can be denoted by d psi by dt, where psi is nothing but flux linkages. Okay, flux linkages means what? Number of flux lines. Okay, number of flux lines is linking with number of turns. Okay, number of flux lines is linking with number of turns, which is called as flux linkages. Flux is linking, that is called as flux linkages. Okay, so this d psi by dt is representing what? Is it representing only flux linkages, or is it representing changes in flux linkages with respect to time? With respect to time, it is changing. Okay, flux linkages with respect to time, rate of change of flux linkages. So an EMF will be induced across the conductor whenever the conductor experiences changes in flux linkages. So EMF, okay, will be directly proportional to rate. Okay, rate of change of flux linkages. So E is directly proportional to d psi by dt. Okay, this psi can be written as number of flux lines linking to number of turns. Psi is equal to phi into n, where phi is number of flux. Okay, phi is representing flux in Webers and n is number of turns. Okay, so this E can be written as d into phi into n by dt. Therefore E is equal to n. N is always constant. Number of turns after design will be constant. Okay, because it is a physical parameter, right? N into d phi by dt. Now this equation, E is equal to n into d phi by dt, it gives the magnitude of induced EMF. What I'm saying, it gives the magnitude of induced EMF across the winding of transformer. Okay, it gives magnitude. It gives magnitude of induced EMF across winding of transformer. Okay, E is equal to n into d phi by dt. Now in order to get the direction of this induced EMF, okay, in order to get the direction of this induced EMF, we will apply Lenz's law. Okay, we will apply Lenz's law. So the final equation we can write E is equal to minus n d phi by dt. Okay, now this equation is giving both magnitude as well as direction. This negative sign is representing the Lenz's law, the existence of Lenz's law. Okay, every machine has to follow the Lenz's law, has to satisfy Lenz's law. Okay, according to Lenz's law, it will oppose the effect will oppose the cause of production. Okay, according to Lenz's law, the effect will oppose the cause of production. Okay, what is Lenz's law? That we are going to see in further lectures. Okay, but for time being, just remember this gives both magnitude as well as direction for EMF which is induced according to Faraday's second law of electromagnetic induction, and this EMF is also called as statically induced EMF. Okay, this is statically induced EMF. Okay, this is in case of generator we have, this is dynamically induced EMF. Okay, this is dynamically induced EMF. Okay, now what is this dynamically induced EMF, what is statically induced EMF, what is rotational induced EMF? We have all this discussion in further lectures. Okay, we have separate lecture for this. There we will discuss in very descriptive manner, okay, by taking number of examples. Okay, what is dynamically induced EMF, what is statically induced EMF, what is Lenz's law, how Lenz's law is getting satisfied inside the machine, electrical machines. Okay, all these concepts we are going to see in further classes. Okay, so this was about the general discussion on our basic three machines: generator, motor and a transformer. Okay, with this note I will conclude the lecture here, but before concluding the lecture I have a special request for you. I have recently started my YouTube journey with in this education field or in this teaching field, okay, through YouTube, particularly for electrical engineering, for the people or the student who are preparing for JEE and A level exam or any government exam. Okay, or the people who are in second year, third year, fourth year, they also can refer this. They can also refer this lecture. So अगर आपको ये लेक्चर पसंद आ रहा है, कॉन्सेप्ट आपको इजी वे में समझ में आ रहा है, ओके, तो इट्स माय रिक्वेस्ट टू डू प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब एंड लाइक द चैनल. ओके, अगर आपके कोई सजेशन होगा, कोई क्वेश्चन होगा, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा होगा, तो आप वो उसको ज़रूर कमेंट बॉक्स में लिखिए. ओके, सो विद दिस नोट आई विल टेक योर लीव. थैंक यू सो मच.